Hello, and welcome to the Footy Podcast. To benefit Here's Help. Here's Help is a nonprofit comprehensive rehabilitation and educational agency that's been providing treatment services in South Florida since 1968. For more information on Here's Help or Footy's Podcast, you can contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. Now, here's Footy.
Welcome to the Here's Help show. I'm Footy.
Also known as the Footy Podcast.
The Footy Podcast coming to you from lovely Miami Gardens. We've been here a long time.
A very long time.
Yeah, and well, you would know. And we built, so people don't understand it, we're on the corner of 151st and Northwest 27th Avenue. And what we did is, when we were starting Here's Help, like, looking for a facility, someplace to start with, there was a PBA, Police Benevolent Association, and there was some other club like the organization, and it was a bar. It was like a big bar, and it fell into this, favor, and we bought the property and we got that, and then we started developing other things. We have in that main building that I told you about, we have our restaurant, we have our kitchens, we have some school rooms in there, we have counseling rooms in there, we have all kinds of things. This property at 151st and Northwest 27th Avenue, if you took an aerial view of it, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, well, it's a big piece of property.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on. Our latest project, which we're in the middle of now, is we're building a plumbing school. And we just got all the permits okayed. But, you want to build something, it takes forever.
Yeah, it does.
And but we have it all in place. We are not just a counseling place, where you come in and we're going to tell you, be good. We're a developmental program, meaning that we want you to develop yourself and to start that, which we talk about all the time, replacement life.
Mm-hmm.
And we want you to start your new life. We don't want you just to not do the old life. We want you to start a new life. Now, there's a gentleman right over there next to you. He's had a setback for his replacement life.
Mm-hmm.
He did something very, very dumb and very, very wrong.
Wow.
He's got no points.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's not earning any points.
Explain to folks the point system, how the point system works.
Yeah, when people come into Here's Help, now you got to remember we have several different types of programs.
Mm-hmm.
We have outpatient programs in the south, and we have outpatient program in the north.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have our residential facility, which is not, see that's why we want to clarify. We're not just like a housing place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they'll tell you, you got to do your job, you got to take care of what you're doing, you got to learn something, you got to get a path together, you have to set up goals and destinations.
Mm-hmm.
Life is not just you flop out of the front door and there it is. You have to prepare. You have to build something that you're going to live off of.
And those jobs that you do, you get points for the jobs.
Well, what happens? You get 1 point a day
Mm-hmm.
for a successful day, and graduation here is 120 points.
Okay.
Now you can earn extra points, or like certain people sitting at this desk, you could flush down a whole bunch of points.
Right.
So we don't like people losing points. We want you to
Right.
gain points. Points are not a penalty. What they are is their guidance. It's like, this is the way of the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you work at the Ford Motor Plant and you're not doing your job, you lose all your points and they send you home. And it's the same situation with us. And they can earn extra points and they can get involved in other things. They'll tell you, they'll explain it to you. Introduce yourself.
Dayron Maderos.
This is your second time around
Yes,
here.
yes. I relapsed. I was here 3-4 months ago. 5 months ago. I did the whole program, 120 points. I got extra points because I could tell on that part of if you come here, you could earn either like you get a point every day, right? Like a successful day, how he says, or you could get a function too, like help out in the kitchen, mop the floor, help out back there.
You can get extra points.
You get a little extra points every week. You'll get an extra 2 points, but that's only for the guys that are helping out back there.
Right.
Yeah. So I was here like 4 or 5 months ago. I was in a function. I did it. I got on my 120 points. And then when I got back out in the real world, this place even helped me. They're paying for my school. They got me when I was here. Steve got me to OIC when he took me to OIC, and they got to pay for my whole school, and I don't even have to pay that back. So that's a tremendous help. So I was going to school when I got out. I was doing good for 3-4 months, and then I relapsed again. And I didn't wait for nobody to marksman act me. None of that. I already knew how this place worked. I liked it, so I came back. And I'm going through it again, and I'm going to finish it.
Yeah, refresh your course and
Yeah,
get ready
refresh.
for the next new life. Listen, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes. And the trick of a mistake is when you fall down, get up.
Yeah.
You did a very smart thing.
Mm-hmm.
You went to a place you know and understand.
Mhm.
You went to a place that cares about you.
Yeah. I like this place a lot, and also like how he's saying, like learning through education, like it's preparing you for the other programs. You go to the program and you're either going in because you have good insurance, this or that. They're not really trying to help you. They're just here for your money.
Mm-hmm.
So other places, literally you go and they're lazy the whole time. Every day, wake up, watch TV, and then go right back to sleep. They got little video games, I understand, but they're not really like preparing you for the real world. Like you could wake up at whatever time you want. What I like about here, because it actually like helped me out for the real world. And when I got out of here, I was going to work on time, waking up on time, because here we have a schedule. At the beginning, you might not like it. You might think it's hell, but it's not, man. It's literally preparing you for the real world. Like you're waking up at a certain time, you're eating at a certain time. You're gonna do some work and learn through from at least we work from 7:20, 7:30 we're eating, and then from 7:30 to 1. We're working. Some of us are in the kitchen cooking with chef. Other like first 15 days here, you're in maintenance, so you're helping out cleaning around.
But a lot of that is training.
Yeah, it's training you is like literally like if you're in a real job. Like so when you get out there, you get a job and you wake up. Like it's literally like helping you when you get out to the real world.
Right.
Yeah.
Real world.
Mm.
I hope you're ready for it,
Definitely, especially with the help I'm receiving from this program.
especially with me watching your every move.
And what is your name?
My name is Footy and Ron. I'm a student here. I really appreciate the opportunity that has been given to me because my life was really off track. And like Ron says, this program has a lot of very good qualities. It really does get you ready for the real world. Currently, right now, I have a function. I'm working in the kitchen, and I have to wake up at a certain time. I have to be ready at a certain time.
We have structure.
We have structure, and that's something that we need for the real life because we can't be late to work. We have to do what we gotta do. Also, I was attending the culinary class, very great program and opportunity that they have here in Here's Help. I got certified with my food handlers, and I've been currently working on my managers, and I believe that that's a great opportunity because it's actually a chance that this program gives you to do something that you like. I love being in the kitchen. I love working in the kitchen. I love cooking food. It's a passion that I have, and I take it as a great opportunity because
But you screwed it up.
They're giving me the chance to build a career on something that I love to do. So
tell them how you screwed it up.
well, yeah, I had an incident with another student, and yeah, I was wrong. Well, long story short, I got into some trouble. You know, I had to pay the cost.
So he's at 0 points.
How long have you been here?
I'm going on my 3rd month.
So you lost a lot of points.
I lost 47 points, and I'm currently not getting points. Been here a whole week. I don't got any points, but it's all right because
It's life.
it's life. I have to wear the situation, and like Footy says, when you fall, you get back up. So I'm trying to move on now. I am moving on, putting this situation behind me, and I'm just climbing the ladder.
Yeah, he grabbed me this morning, tried to give me a song and dance that he could get going. But he'll get going. We'll get him going.
Well, yeah.
And it's hard for people in the outside world to really understand this, that we
It really is.
we don't just stare at the wall. Okay?
Although there are a lot of programs, as you were saying, you're just there because they're collecting your
Yeah, they're
insurance
counting
money.
ahead, yeah.
Right. So there's no structure, there's no education, and
That doesn't help.
and absolutely. And we use that term recovery through education
Yeah.
all the time as well. And you're talking about your food handler's license and your food manager's license.
Yeah.
He's going to get the manager's license.
Yeah.
He's already pretty close.
Yeah, I was pretty close.
Was pretty close.
And another great thing about the program is also for students that come in that haven't completed school, they also have
GED.
GED. We're allowed to get our high school diplomas because on the diplomas it says high school.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, the GED diplomas are from the Dade County school system.
Right. Well, there's a classroom. In
Right. We
Dade
have
County
our own
Public School
classroom,
teachers
too.
right here.
We have teachers, and you get a high school diploma. You don't get a replacement diploma.
Equivalency, as
Yeah,
they call it.
it's a real diploma.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the point of that is, the reason we did that is so when you go for a job,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if you got some kind of, half-assed diploma, but we'll take the other guy.
Right, right.
And
Well, I think we've talked about this a lot too. A lot of these young men who've been dealing with substance issues. There he is again, shaking the sauce. A lot of the young men either get kicked out of school or they just quit going to school. So one of the first things that you try to do is to get them your high school diploma, and that was the case with you, right?
yes, and the great thing about the school system here,
do you have your diploma?
all I'm missing is math. I missed my math by 6 points. That's the only thing I'm working on now.
Oh, so you can't wait to get back in that kitchen, huh?
Yeah, I can't wait to get back into everything. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
I'm ready to move on. And the great thing about the school system here is a lot of teachers and schools, they use certain methods for teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually have great teachers. Like my math teacher, he tries every single method there is possible to teach. If you are a physical learner, if you want to get on the board, if he needs to explain it to you this way, that way, any way possible for you to learn, he's gonna do it. And he's a very smart man, and he's
We are a Dade County high school. Well, really not now. We got some young guys, but we have Dade County school teachers.
Mm-hmm.
We have,
Well, this is a campus.
yeah. But we have our campus, and on our campus
Mm-hmm.
is Dade County school teachers, and we have to, which I really like, is we have a manager, supervisor,
Okay.
who visits on the teachers. Miami-Dade College is right down the block. We're surrounded by developmental things that are taking place.
Well, I know we've talked a lot about looking forward here. We don't like to look back, especially on the past life and everything. But I think it's important for folks who are watching these podcasts to understand what kind of life these young men are coming from, and what they're looking forward to now. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing, we'll start with you, just sharing with us what happened with you, how you got started in substance abuse, at what age, and what led to you being here. Because I know you mentioned Marchman. So let's tell us
But
about
he's a
your-
returnee.
Yeah, so talk about your
But
first,
he chose to come back.
which is very important. And
Yeah.
like you said, it was a very smart thing to do to come back when you've got several years of behavior to undo. Sometimes you can't just undo it in a couple of weeks. So tell us your story.
Yeah. Okay. I started smoking weed when I was like 15. It all started when I was like 15. I never used to do anything before that, so I started smoking weed when I was 15, and then I kept just smoking weed when I was 15, and then I think it was like when I was 19 years old, I tried a Percocet for the first time. I tried a Percocet, and then I got hooked to that. Started doing Percocets, kept on doing Percocets, and then that wasn't doing anything for me. So after like a year or two, I was like already 20, 21, and I tried heroin for the first time. I started doing heroin, got hooked to that because the Percocets weren't.
How were you doing it?
I was
intravenous.
No, I never injected none of that. I would just inhale it. I would inhale it, and then after that, I just stayed on heroin for this past few years. But let me go back. The first time when I started doing, as soon as I started doing the Percocets, that's when I knew I already had a problem because I stopped using them and I started getting withdrawals, feeling horrible, feeling really bad, and then that's when I went to my first detox. It was by West Palm Beach. I don't remember the name of the place. It was just detox for like 9 days. I thought I had it. I stopped using after those 9 days, and then I got hooked again. I kept on using,
Yeah, but that's an important point he's making. It's very rare that you just stop. And it's very rare that you don't advance in the lifestyle, which is what he's describing. And he's aware, he understands, he knows where he went wrong, he knows where he's got to go. Because again, this is he's been here before, so this is all, he's very aware of it. And he made the choice to come back. He made it. They didn't bring you up here in a station wagon with bars on the windows. He said, you know what, I better get back there. And that's a big thing with us, that if we get people that have difficulties and they get back. When I went in back in the 1920s, but anyway, when I went in, it was, you might as well have been talking Greek because nobody knew what anybody, they were like, what? Who? But we weren't like that. We were ready to go. And, but I went in and I stayed in. I didn't want to go near a door. And I ran into, I was part of what they call the original 7. There was 7 of us that they took mostly out of jail and started in program. Because there wasn't any programs back then. They were just starting, like barely starting Daytop Village.
Right.
They didn't really have anything. They had something on Ward's Island, but there was really nothing. And
this was in New York.
Yeah. And then they sent me in there. I was lucky to Dr. Sears. I got her, and I stayed with her the whole way. And we came here, and I went to Hialeah, got an apartment, started going to Miami-Dade North, eventually went to FIU and St. Thomas. So I made it through.
And the rest is history. And now we have Here's Help.
Yeah, but they were, I had to go back a couple times as certain things popped up that they weren't aware of.
Certain appearances that had to be made.
Yeah, I had one judge, I had to go back, and he looked at me, and he goes, "You're kidding." And I went, "No." He goes, "What are you doing here?" And he was basically saying, "Why aren't you locked up?" And we went through the whole routine. I explained to him what was going on, that I didn't live here anymore. I lived there. And I came up because of I got the paperwork. You better show up in court. And I had like 3 or 4 of those floating around. Because, they have all, especially Long Island, they have their own little towns. So you'll get a subpoena from the courthouse of that town. And then you have to go there. And there was a lot of things, there were a lot of loose ends flying around.
Right.
But anyway, so I stood there, and he was astonished. He was like, what on earth are you doing here? So when I explained to him, you summoned me to come here. And he was just aghast at the whole thing. But finally, I explained what I was doing. He said to me, I'll never forget, he goes, if I ever see your face again, okay, you may never get out. It's okay.
See you later.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, Key West, here I come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about your past. How did you wind up at Here's Help the first time?
Okay, so I already told you that I went to the first detox when I was doing the Percocet, this and that.
Right.
My bad. And then after that, I went to because of my insurance. Right. That was when I was already doing the heroin and all of that. So in that place I went in and I only did like a month. I kept going in and out of that place because I'll do 21 days. I think that I was good. I kept on relapsing, kept on going back. I went to that place 3 or 4 times. And then after that, didn't go nowhere. I kept on using for like almost a whole year until my mom marshman acted me. Right? I got marshman acted, but the addict in me got her to like do outpatient instead of going in inpatient. So I was doing 90 days outpatient. And I kept on faking the drug piss, all of that. I kept on faking it until she found out. Because she kept on seeing me nodding off here and there. And then, I was already doing, it wasn't even fentanyl anymore. I mean, it wasn't even heroin. I was already doing fentanyl.
Wow.
It was fentanyl already at that point because it was already getting covered with fentanyl, so I was already doing fentanyl. She marshmanized me. I was doing the outpatient, and then I was doing fentanyl one day in the car. And I nodded off in the car, and I got hit. I got hit on my side. I got hit.
You were driving.
I was driving, and I was nodding off. And like I was nodding off. I fell asleep. I got hit, and I left. And I was the one that got hit. I left, and I left the scene. And as soon as I turned in the right on the next block, the cops were already on me.
Wow.
So I got caught with possession on me. I went in, and I called my mom. She didn't want to get me out of jail. And I'm like, please get me out. I'll go inpatient. And so as soon as I got out, the next week I was already in here. Marshman acted. And I was supposed to do only 90 days. I was only going to do 90 days. I know there's 120 points because Marshman Act is only 90 days. I was already going to do 90 days, but since I had all of that trouble, so the car accident, I got caught with substance and on me, it was better if I did the whole 120. It looked better for the judge, so I went and did the whole 120 days. And then I'm here again because I relapsed.
Right. But again, there's nothing wrong with you. Actually, it was a very smart move that you made coming back.
Yeah.
And again, as I was just saying, you've got how many years of behavior that you have to undo than you can't necessarily do in a couple of weeks. And tell us a little bit about your experiences in substances.
Well, I started smoking pot when I was 9 years old with my older brother. And at that point, I was only stealing his little roaches and things like that off the windowsill and out his car. About the age of 12, I really started purchasing my own pot. By that age, it was an everyday thing for me. And by the age of 13, then I tried cocaine for the first time. I was on and off. By the time I turned 16, I was addicted to cocaine. It was something that I would do it before brushing my teeth in the morning. And it was the only
And
thing
it's explain to people, it's a very fast-acting drug.
Yes.
So you start chasing the devil.
Yes.
Because you gotta get to it.
And it gets to a point that that's the only thing that you care about. You lose values and morals, and the things that are really important to you aren't important to you no more, except chasing that high. And
Where are you getting money?
I was just going to say, you're talking about fentanyl, which we know is very expensive. Cocaine is expensive.
so then I turned to the criminal life to support my drug habit.
Describe the criminal life.
I was
Stealing everything that wasn't tied down?
Stealing whatever I could put my hands on. I was selling drugs to support my drug habit. Whatever profit I was making was going right back up my nose. And I was like that until probably the age right before I turned 18. Then I started using all kinds of pills. from Xanax to oxycodones, ecstasy, whatever you could imagine. I've went through it all. And
You mentioned fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was gonna tell you. You said fentanyl is expensive. Actually, it's not.
Really?
Percocets were more expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah, like a third.
It is.
Fentanyl is cheap. That's why I moved on to that because it's
But
it's a
fentanyl
better
has
high and it was cheaper.
fentanyl has a side effect.
Yeah, death.
It's called death.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why a lot of these kids are like that. They're overdosing on it because
Mhm.
fentanyl. Everything's getting cut with fentanyl, and yeah, that's scary because I overdosed 4 times when I was doing that. And thank God that I woke up on my own. One of them had to use Narcan on me to wake me up.
Right.
But yeah, it was bad.
Were you a fentanyl?
no, no, sir.
What was your drug of choice?
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
Okay.
And did you also start stealing?
No, I was stealing from my parents. That's what I started to do. Like I'll pawn on a whole bunch of things.
We hear that. We hear that a lot.
Yeah, you don't want one of us in your household
Right. Right.
because things are going to start vanishing.
And it was
Right.
bad. It was like I don't want to do it, but it's like I'm doing it. It's like my
Some-
body's doing it already. Like I don't know.
Mhm.
Deep down inside, I know it's bad, but it's like all that like the withdrawals and all that. It's like it's like if you're in a psychosis, like it's so bad. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I stopped too.
Mm. Not
We-
a good place to be.
And we hear that term. We hear kids talk about car hopping a lot too.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty familiar to you.
Yeah.
Checking to see if a door is unlocked and taking
Opening the door.
or open it yourself. Yeah, through the window. Yeah.
And yeah, and it definitely got bad right before the age of turned 18. I got off coke for a little bit, and like I said, I started taking a lot of pills, and I got addicted to Oxycontin.
Mm-hmm.
I used to buy a lot of the 30 milligrams, and I was paying $20 to $25 a piece for each one, and it got to a point where it was too expensive, and I started to develop tolerance.
Mhm.
And so then it was cheaper for me to just go buy the actual thing, which was heroin, because it's cheaper. $10 and you got your fix. It got to a point where I would wake up with my bones hurting, cold, and so I was just, at first it was a thing just to get high, then I was depending on it, and I was like that for about a year. Then I got off of it and went back to coke. I was bouncing back and forth, and got to a point where my criminal life got so bad that I got myself in a situation in 2015 to where I was held on 2 capital charges, and
You eventually they put you in the cage.
a couple other charges, and I went to trial on them. I beat 2 of the charges they was trying to give me life for, and I was found guilty on something else, and they offered me 2 years, so I took it, and I put my family through so much. I got out, and I thought I had it. I got out.
You did the
July-
2 years.
I did the 2 years. I got out July 17th of 2017. And I thought I had everything figured out. And what's crazy is my first day out, I went back to using.
It's your job.
My first day out, I went back to using. And I swore on everything in the world that I just had it figured out. I wasn't coming out to use. I was going to do the right thing. My intentions were to do the right thing.
Mhm.
But man, it was just like I had it on my back, man, and I was out 8 months. Went back. They gave me another year in prison. Got out with probation. And this time, I figured out that the first time I went to prison, I took it all as a joke. And the second time, I really, really thought I had it figured out. But I got out. I was clean for about a month, and I went back in for 2 more years. And that's it, man. I'm tired. I am. I
Well,
asked-
that's a good point. That it's some guys just get sick and tired of the life, and they have all the other accoutrements, but you get sick and tired of the life. That's what happened with me. Is I just said, you know what? This isn't going anywhere. And they didn't have programs back then. They just started one where I was, and they took me from the jail to the hospital and put me in the program. And you know what? While I was in there, I said, you know what? This is enough's enough already. I reached the point of like, what? You know, but that's, it's like weird. It's like that's the last hill that you got to go over, and you got to go over it. And usually on that hill is a girlfriend, a job, a life, a different place. Okay, and that's how you get out of it, because you're really when you're in it, you're in the tunnel. You know, you're in there. That's it. Here it is. And you know what else is bad? Is your acquaintances and your friends. That you got to get away from them.
I just wanted to touch back on something that you mentioned, the word tolerance, and you said something about waking up in pain. Is it true that when you start using substances, your body does build up a tolerance, and therefore you need to start using more? But it almost seems like you reach a point where I think you kind of said that you're not really getting high anymore. You're taking drugs to feel normal.
Let me clarify that for you. You're not getting as high as you were. You know.
But isn't it? It's a way of staving off the pain.
Yes.
Yeah, you get to a point where you can self-medicate.
Just to try to feel like a normal human
Well,
being.
but you learn little tricks. You learn to lay off for a couple days. You learn different things. You try different drugs. It's a whole, it's a science project, the whole thing.
Right.
You run into your friend, and he's got something you never had before, so you try that.
It becomes a full-time job.
Yeah, it's an occupation.
And that's where the replacement life comes in, because you replace that occupation with plumbing or auto repair or culinary or
a girlfriend
or something like that. Right.
Yeah,
a family.
I replaced one of the things, and I still talk to her to this day. She aided me in getting across the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was really helpful. And I still talk to her today. She's out in California, psychologist. I got her started in the occupation. I got her started in the occupation.
That's too funny. Well, I want to appreciate you. I appreciate both of you guys coming in and sharing with us your stories. And I want to wish you the both of luck here at Here's Help, and hope you start getting your points back. And it sounds like you've reached that point where you understand.
And let me ask you a question: Is he still in that class?
They're cool.
Yeah, we're good.
They're cool. Yeah, they get along
we talk,
already.
We hang out together now.
There's no beef. There's no.
We actually shook each other's hand and gave each other a hug and got past it. We're good.
Did you pick his pocket when you hugged him?
No, sir.
Did you take his wristwatch off his?
No, sir.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming in and talking to us and sharing your story. And I want to wish you guys both the best of luck. And if you're listening or watching our podcast and some of the things you've heard here are hitting home in your life, or a loved one or a family member.
There's one of us in every house.
There is.
Yeah.
Everyone has someone.
Yeah.
We urge you to go to here'shelpinc.com and find out more about the place.
Make an appointment.
Make an appointment. Call the number.
Yeah, let me explain something. You can't just walk in the door.
Right.
All right. Now, you can make an appointment that could result in you walking in the door, but we have to control that door. It's not just a free-for-all.
Right. So the main thing is to reach out, go on the website, find the correct numbers to call.
We also try to have people. We try to work with people who are serious and who have the potential. You could hear it in them.
Yes.
and that are willing to go through what we're going to put you through. You know, we expect you to perform.
Right.
We don't expect you to sit here, lay here, and smoke Marlboros all day. That ain't going to work.
Right.
And in our culture, which I'm sure you're hearing from them, they realize that.
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
They realize getting to work is a plus.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
it helps you, it helps you get over the nonsense, and you get on to something else, and
Something
who
constructive.
knows what it'll lead to.
Right.
Some of our guys go to the Youth Automotive Training Center.
And another thing, it keeps your mind occupied. Instead of sitting around in the program doing nothing all day, thinking about using drugs, you're occupied doing something productive.
Right.
Keeps your mind off.
Plus, you're also in an environment where they're looking at you.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing? Okay.
Well, we thank you guys, and thank you folks for watching the podcast. Again, we're on YouTube, and you can click on the subscribe button. I pointed over here last. The subscribe button is on this side of the screen. Click on that. And
You're fired.
Subscribe to our podcast.
We should
and
explain
also,
who you are.
Who am I?
Yeah.
No, I'm just a figment of your imagination.
No, you're a
No.
figment of my career. Your
Well,
career.
yeah, no. Footy and I'm Ron Hersey. Footy and I worked together at Y100 from 1982 to like 1985 or 6.
I was there 5, 6,
And you were
7
there-
years before you.
Probably 10 years before I got there.
Yeah.
But we worked with Sonny Fox for many years at Y100.
Bill Tanner.
And Bill Tanner. I
Rest
never
in-
worked with Tanner, but I knew
Rest
him
in peace.
very well. Yeah, we lost him. Lost another one. It's been a brutal year for radio personalities, man. Folks in the industry. Just a brutal year. We've lost so many guys. But we're still kicking, man. We're still doing it. Still here. So, and we do appreciate you supporting the podcast, watching the podcast, and click on the little bell, and that way we'll notify you when there's new. We have 2 new podcasts that we just loaded this week, so that you check up those and keep checking back. We usually every week or so we have a new podcast. So, thanks for supporting us. Thanks for watching, and click on the bell. The Footy Sauce. Don't forget to buy the Footy Sauce. Every penny from your purchase of Footy Sauce goes to help all the great work we're doing to help these young men here at, thank you, here at Here's Help.
Have you been introduced to Footy Sauce? Footy Sauce makes it easy to give ordinary chicken wings extraordinary flavor. Footy Wing Sauce is made with a perfect blend of herbs and spices. So what are you waiting for? Pour it on. Footy's Wing Sauce guarantees you a better taste than chicken wing every single time. When you fire up the grill, pour it on. Let Footy be your wingman. Kick your next party up a notch with Footy Sauce. Grab Footy's Wing Sauce and pour it on.
And if you don't see the Footy Sauce on your
Publix
grocery shelf
and
at Publix,
supermarkets and-
ask for the manager and tell him you
all
want
over the
Footy
place.
Sauce, because it's awesome, it's delicious.
Go into the store,
Yes.
go up to the manager, and tell him, if I can't get a case of Footy Sauce, I may die.
And you're not
That was a
exaggerating.
joke.
Anyway, so thanks again, and we'll talk to you real soon here on the Footy Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Footy Podcast. To benefit, here's help. For more information about the Footy Podcast or Here's Help, contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. The executive producer of the Footy Podcast is Sam Zacco, COO of Here's Help.